Let's now go to Germany, where Chancellor Angela Merkel and regional leaders agreed to put the country in a hard lockdown over Easter. What they're trying to do is reverse a third wave of coronavirus infections. The plan is considered radical. All stores would be closed April 1st for 5 days, except for food outlets. Joining me now from Frankfurt is Bloomberg editor Daniel Schaefer. Hey, Daniel, thanks so much for joining us on this.
Hey,
First of
how are
all,
you?
just give us the status of where you are when it comes to lockdown in Germany right now. What restrictions are in place?
Yes, as you said, the reason for this is that we have seen rapidly rising cases. The contagion rate has gone almost doubled in 1 month's time, and we're already seeing a high number of people in intensive care units with COVID-19 once again. So there's a big fear that if this goes on for another few weeks, that hospitals will be overwhelmed by this, which is why Chancellor Merkel and the regional state leaders have agreed last night on this very radical step to have, in a way, like a circuit breaker lockdown with 5 days of everything being shut. And at the same time, the more less radical steps that we had in terms of curbs, non-essential shops being closed, etc. Those will continue until April 18 as well.
The timing of this is a little puzzling to me, just because here we are, March 23rd. These newer restrictions and stricter restrictions don't start until April 1st. There's more than a week between now and then. So isn't that plenty of time for people to continue to do what they were doing before in an environment with eased restrictions that could actually cause the virus to spread more?
Yeah, that's actually one of the main criticisms that we're hearing today from virologists but also from some of the politicians, is that it's too late. But the reason they are doing this at Easter is that obviously the Easter holiday is a convenient time to do such a radical step, because there are already 2 days of public holidays around the Easter weekend. So what they're doing is they're just extending that by a bit, and it's a time when people may be at home anyway and don't go out as much.
There does seem to be there are some loopholes too in the rules. People able to go to Mallorca, for example, but not travel domestically. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, I mean, this has been one of the main reasons why we had a meeting that went very late into the night until they agreed on it, because this has been very contentious. Basically, Germany has classified Mallorca now as a non-risk area, because the incidence rate there, so the contagion rate there is at around 30, which is pretty low. So people are allowed to travel there again, but they're not allowed to travel within Germany. And this is given the higher amount of cases within Germany. So this is obviously something that is really hard to explain to the wider population. And this has caused some particular anger that you can travel abroad to Mallorca, but you can't travel within Germany. And one of the things they did now is that they are now forcing people to test themselves when they come back, even from a low risk area such as Mallorca.
How is Chancellor Merkel doing when it comes to popularity, when it comes to support of the restrictions that have been put in place, when it comes to her handling of the virus?
Yeah, I mean, Merkel still is Germany's most popular politician, but her reputation has suffered considerably in the past few months. And the main reason for this is that her government has been seen as mishandling a lot of the things in the fight against the pandemic recently. So that is the testing strategy that went really wrong. They were too late in ordering tests. It's the vaccination campaign that obviously went really wrong. Germany is really behind in terms of vaccination compared to, say, the UK or the US. And it's also because some of the politicians from her CDU-CSU party bloc have been embroiled in scandals about taking provisions for selling masks to the government, and this has not really reflected well on her party, and in fact her party has already lost a lot in the polls. It's now at its lowest level in more than a year, and you have to remember that in 6 months' time there will be federal elections in Germany.
Right.
So there's now a real fear starting to build within her own bloc that they might even lose the election in the end.
Bloomberg's Daniel Schaefer in Frankfurt. Daniel, thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.